So indeed, hello everyone and Happy New Year and welcome to today's first IAPC&M CPD Building Masterclass of 2024. And well done indeed for having made time to be here. My name is Julie Kennedy and I am your host based in the Netherlands. Now, today we have the fascinating Gosha, who's an award-winning Toastmaster, a spiritual coach and a top expert. And she's going to be talking about the topic speaking is only the beginning. So I find that myself rather intriguing, and I believe this will be a true eye-opener. So welcome indeed, Gosha. Let's start with a little bit of housekeeping. So our call today will be a maximum of 1 hour, and that includes 15 minutes of Q&A. Gosha would prefer to have the questions at the end, but maybe what you can do is just put them in the chat box, like that at least you're sure that later on will, oops, let me just mute Lynn, there we are, that later on you can find your questions again. So without further ado, let's start the year as we mean to continue and make the most of these inspiring and educational masterclasses. So do you have your CPD pad and your pen ready so that we really capture all that's being said? I do, I'm a good girl. So wonderful. Over to you, Gosha.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this amazing introduction, and thank you for coming, guys. I'm so surprised that there's so many came, but I believe that the subject of public speaking talk to many of coaches who we are. And let me share first my presentation with you guys. Let me know if you see the slides. Is it okay? Is it okay, everybody? Okay, fine. Let's start. Thank you for coming, and I'm so glad so many people came, because if times allow, later on, then I will run some exercises. We will have some exercises at the end. But let's start. My name is Malgorzata Witkowska, as you already heard, and I'm an accredited hypnotherapist and life coach. And I decided to be a spiritual one because I'm totally in love with spirituality and quite crazy about that. I'm working currently on 2 projects, Create Your Synchronicities, which I will be presenting in March on another masterclasses, and you are more than welcome to come and see what this is all about. And another one is a narcissistic relief program. I'm not sure yet when I will finish, but this is something which I feel strongly supposed to be created this time, yes? But today I want to talk about public speaking, because I know how difficult the subject can be, how scary it can be. I still remember when I started with my first activities, when I joined Toastmasters and I had my first exercise, I was terrified. I almost fainted when first I had to present something in front of more than one person. And this is why I believe that sharing this knowledge, sharing the ideas about how to improve public speaking is so important, especially for people like us, coaches, who supposed to deep into that subject, because this is something which can increase what we do, that we change the vibration of the earth, yes, that we change others people's life. And speaking is just the beginning of that journey. And everybody knows it, that speaking can improve every aspect of our life, not only coaching abilities and skills. And I strongly believe, and I saw examples of it, and I know that everybody has that skill of public speaking within us. It's just a matter of unleashing it and finding your unique way how to do it. And I learned, because I do a lot of searches about science, about how human brain works for my project for creating synchronicities. And I know that human brain learns the quickest and best way through an example. And this is what I decided to do today. Not sell you guys this simple theory and leave you with it. I decided to do something more tricky, more cheeky. Show you through the example how you can create something which can serve your business. And what would be difficult in a business of coaching? I thought that maybe creating a successful sales pitch is something which you could be interested in. And this is what I choose for today's presentation. I will be pretending that I'm selling a public speaking course and show you all elements which I learned from famous people, famous public speaking teachers, how to set and put to make your sales speech successful. And as every single sales speech, it has to start with sales hook. It's the smallest part of the whole sales speech, definitely, but the most important, because this is the moment when your potential client decides if they invest in you their precious time and stay with you for at least a few minutes to potentially buy your product at the end. It opens the conversation, and what the most important, you have few precious minutes of their time to convince them that you are worth hearing out. This is why sales hook is so important. And there are techniques to use. Plenty, probably. But I love two of them. And I quite often use. Yeah, with more or less success, dependingly. But the most important thing when you create your sales hook is to know who you talk to. You have to estimate your audience. You have to know what triggers them to be able to use it as your leverage. And if you are a business coach, if you talk to people whose language is numbers, who are triggered when you talk about money, statistics, any numbers, then you can use spicy facts to bring them in to the conversation. For example, if I was selling public speaking to businesswomen, businessmen, other coaches, then I would say, look at that. Average speaker earns between $4,000 and $22,000 per month. And on top of it, I would add the cherry pick. That's the cherry, yes? This is like, but Tony Robbins earns $300,000 per event. Come on. People whose language is money would be already on board, yes? No doubt. But our average potential client, audience, are normal people who we coach on probably daily basis. And those people often find talking about money cheeky. They often feel like it might be a scam or something like that. It's why you have to know who you talk to. You cannot make that mistake to use the wrong hook. And if you talk to average person, and I will show you the technique which works with majority of people, and even with businessmen, it might work, is using engaging or rhetorical question. How to use that, okay? And this is beautiful. I love this technique because I will show you that when you're not confident enough, you can turn engaging to rhetorical and prevent yourself from going further into something which can challenge you or embarrass if you fear that. And for example, if I was selling public speaking to average audience, for example, if I was there during some kind of event, I would say, what is more important, visual presentation or vocal presentation? And look what I have done. I use another trick. I put an accent on the word which I want them to pick up. I'm like kind of forcing them to answer what I want them to answer, yes, to pick up the proper answer. Because I'm selling a public speaking course, yes? Which means I want them to invest in the concept of them increasing the vocal presentation. And now, if you're confident enough, if you feel like you can do it and you can handle any challenging which can come from your audience, then you wait for somebody to answer the question. You might have a friend amongst your audience. If there is nobody raising the hand, and your friend might raise the hand and trigger some kind of communication, because this is really, really engaging tactic and shows your in terms of public speaking, it would show my performance quality, yes? But if you don't feel like doing anything like that, you can easily turn it from engaged to rhetorical, adding examples on top of it. For example, during job interview or Zoom event or first calls with your new love interest. And come on, half of them already would know what you are trying to sell, what you are trying to present, what you want them to improve. And definitely they would want to choose vocal presentation over visual one. But if you want to be sure that they want to invest in this, you can add some clever fact on top of it. Like, for example, you can buy how you look, but you have to learn how to speak. And they are so, and they are with you. Proper, lovely hook. Yeah. And now they are, some of them might leave. You cannot get put off, yes? But those who will stay, they are really like, oh, I discover my purpose. This is what you want. Okay. Now it's a time for another trick. Because after you show them what you have in your sleeve and how you can improve their life, now you have to show them that you did your research. And this is not some empty sentences, empty theory, that you backed it up with others' authority, with others' opinions, people who know been proven that they know what they are talking about. And the best way of doing that is using, for example, quotes of famous people. I can say, like once Adam Grant said, good communicators make themselves look smart, but great communicators make their audience feel smart. Look what I have done. I again used the trick, another trick. I put accent on the word feel because I'm conditioning my audience to pay attention to something which I will use during the whole sales pitch. And when I will be created the outcome of my sales pitch, I will be referring to it, which means I will create a connection between the beginning of the sales pitch and the end of the sales pitch. And in the brain of my audience, it all will make sense, and they will connect automatically. Their brain, their conscious mind, and even subconscious will connect connection between the beginning and the end, and it will look professional. Yes, it's nice to have something which connects because it creates the shape of it, and they will start trusting it through it. It's like brain works. Brain always looks for connections. Logical part of our brain looks for connections and wants to put dots together because they feel smarter then. And now you use another trick, which is very important, which took me the longest to learn how to use it. Even I was told off quite often by people who I learned public speaking from. Because I tend to, when I stress, I tend to talk quicker, and they always tell me off, woman, how often we have to tell you? Pause, woman. Let them digest. Let them hook into it. Let them make a decision. And this is proven that people do not like to be pressed. They don't like you to make decisions that they're supposed to invest in your product. They want to decide by themselves. And when humans decide by themselves that, yes, they will invest this way in themselves, then they are more likely to come either not to buy on the site or come back to you when they will be searching, Googling, who is better than you. But because you allowed them to, through the pausing, to make decision during your sales pitch, they are more likely to trust you. Yes, that you're letting them to make decisions by themselves. Pausing. Let me practice it for a moment because it's supposed to take me 40 minutes this week. But with this pace, it might take less. Pausing. Excellent. Now, when they know what you are trying to sell them, what you are trying to get them into, when they know that you backed it up with some kind of knowledge and you know what you are talking about because it's not on you, but you did the research. Now it's a time to prove something. The theory, what kind of theory to prove? That they have skills to do that. If they buy it, they will handle it. Because they might know, but some of them might think, oh, Jesus, this is too much for me. I don't know if I will be capable of doing that. You have to make some quick, convince them. No, stay with me. You have what it takes to go through this painful experience of public speaking. Stay with me, okay? Look at that. You can say, I bet you perform public speaking daily. Come on. Most of the time, you just don't know, not even notice it. Look, I use another trick. I use personal pronouns. Because at the beginning, I was talking about my product, kind of, and about other people to bring authority on the side. And now I'm directing the message towards my audience, towards my possible client, using pronouns you. Okay, this is important because when you're talking about the skills, you have to direct it towards them. It's a trick. And now it's the time for props and visuals. Why? To enhance the message as well, yes, not a problem. But majority of people are visual. And you never know. That one is difficult to estimate who is. Because I'm a hypnotherapist, I know that there are kinesthetic, auditory, and visual people, yes? And I always do, when I do my sessions, I always try to figure out, before doing hypnosis, I always try to figure out what kind of type of person I'm talking to use different scripts during hypnosis. And this is the same for sales pitch. But you cannot do it, because I have some exercises which I do with my clients to know what kind of script to choose. But you cannot. You have like 5 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Then I always say, hit the biggest group, visuals, use props. And as well, you've been talking, you've been triggering the only auditory for a moment. And now is the time to trigger the sight sense. They heard, now it's time for them to see. And you can use, like, for example, items showing in front of the camera. If you are selling something which is related to the item, or look, crystals, blah, 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 I have more of them, or tarot decks, and which I use, blah, 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 look, this is my favorite tarot deck, or something like that. But you can use pictures as well. And this is what you can use, for example, while you was young in school, and you had to answer your teacher question, then definitely you've done it in front of other students. You already been doing public speaking. Come on. And then, or when you ever worked in the office and you had to do any presentation, I bet it was of quality to be recorded. Or during a celebration, when you had to raise a toast. And this particular practice talked to me the most because I use this concept to learn public speaking and to progress with my confidence, which I will talk about in a minute. And next element would be, now is the time for call for action. They know what you have in your sleeve, what you are selling. They know they might be interested. They know it's backed up with the knowledge. They know they have skills needed. And now you have to create a feeling in them that this is something which can change their life. This is something they want. Call for action will do that. You can say, you have to give yourself credit. You were born to speak. Come on, make a decision about what your message is. And this kind of talking creates dopamine in their bloodstream to motivate them and wake them up. This is perfect because it's stimulate them to listen to you for longer, and as well to make them feel better. And we don't want only them to feel better in this particular moment in time. We want more. We can say, show the entire world your story. Fulfill your destiny. This way, you allow them to dream. Dream. And this is key word. This is a key for you. Because from that moment in time, when you make them dream, you bought them. You brought them on the site. You brought them into your product. Because when your audience start imagining, not only keeping attention to what you are talking about, then you are more likely to sell them your product. Why? Because human's brain, in human's brain, there is that in the middle, the part which is responsible for imagination, and the same part of brain is responsible for decisions making. If you trigger it, then if you allow them to imagine their life being better when they use your product, then you'll have them. They might not buy your product on the site, but when they go back home, they won't be able to forget it. And when they will compare you with any other public speaking courses providers, they still will be thinking about this particular moment when they dreamed about themselves being better after going through your course. 2 tricks. And if you do them perfectly, client. Okay, they know what you have. They think they want it. They have skills. Now they have dopamine. Blah, 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 blah. They are charged. They are charged. Now they want me more information. Prove them that you are right. They want you to show them that when you apply this, it changed your life. They want the proof. Okay. Look at that. People will forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And you have again feeling. And how we can trigger in people a feeling. If you manage during sales pitch them to feel something, come on, you won. And there's a powerful tactic. Powerful. The power of storytelling. If you include some kind of story in your sales pitch, then you are really, really like, you will be really likely to succeed. Why? Because it's easier to remember you and make any impact on your potential client. I'm coming back to that realization that they might not buy straight away from you, but it's not about them buying right now on the site. It's about them remembering who they're supposed to come to when the problem will grow so high that they will eventually have to resolve it, yes? They will remember your name, they will have your telephone number, they will have your business card, and they will remember that you made them feel like they won the world, they were on the top of the world, yes? And this is what you're after, to make them feel like they are on the top of the world. Create the bond with your audience when you use relatable story. This is, again, I'm coming back to that idea that you have to know who you are talking to. You have to estimate what your audience is. And based on it, choose from your memory the story from your own life, which relates most to your audience. Because this way you are more likely to trigger some kind of emotions in them through sympathy, through their empathy, yes? And it expands imagination. Obviously, it helps to sell your product. 6. Next. What time? And I learned from Bin Zhang, I hope I pronounce it right, the perfect formula for storytelling. It's short formula, and trust me, it doesn't matter how boring the story is. If you apply those 4 elements, because the formula covers 4 elements, there is no chance that people wouldn't get engaged listening to it. It's not possible. I will show you how. I will be showing you an example, and you will see how boring it is. But I hope it will trigger in you guys some emotional output. And the first element is incident. 4 W's. Every human, every human needs a core, a base, something to make a sense of what they hear from you. The core of the story. It's who, where, what, and when. People are looking for those information in every single story they hear or read. On top of it, add bugs. Something visual, something auditory, something kinesthetic, and smell if you can. Because it adds spice into your story. It makes it more vivid, rememberable. Sorry. And next one is even more appealing to your potential audience. Bringing your characters of your story alive through adding body language and dialogues. Because this way your audience will feel like you are not only reporting your story to them, but as well letting them relive it. And it will truly make them want to hear it more. And at the end, very important, is to make the point. Why? Because humans demand outcome. Nobody is interested in your story, trust me, unless they can take something out of it. They can learn something. They can, through listening to this, resolve their own problems. And you can start your point with sentence. The reason I'm telling you this is because blah, blah, blah. Okay. And last bit, but as well very important, is no more than 3 minutes. Because it was proven by science that humans' focus span on one subject, on one concept, is not longer than 3 minutes. That's why your story cannot take longer than 3 minutes. You can use many stories in your in your sales pitch, but each not more than 3 minutes. Otherwise, they will be bored, and they will lose focus, and you will lose them. This is it. Okay, sorry. There are 2 ways of storytelling. Yeah, I have my favorite, which I will show you. But if you are talking to those which we were talking about at the beginning, businessmen, business women, CEOs, you are coaching, you are a business coach, then you might use logical way of storytelling, which triggers left brain of your audience. And you can use facts, science, and statistics. For example, I can say something like that. There is an amazing way you can practice your public speaking. Toastmasters is a non-profit educational organization that operates clubs worldwide for the purpose of helping people develop communication, public speaking, and leadership skills. It started in 1938 and involves over 33,000 participants in 141 countries. In 2020, when COVID started, I made a decision to change my life, studied public speaking, and joined Toastmasters when I became Vice President of Membership. I created a few projects and started my business after that. And it would be, wait, I just messed up a little bit. And it would be cool, but you probably lost already a few of them, especially those people who are not interested in numbers. And some of them you probably would be wondering right now, what should I remember from it? Numbers or year or name, or what the heck this is all about? And I say, use emotional way, which triggers right brain, which is responsible for imagination, intuition, and decision-making. Right brain, emotional, because when we trigger emotions, we are more likely to sell. Why? Because memories of emotional events are more vivid and last longer. What I said, it's like we don't want them sell right now. We want them remember us as best. And when we will trigger them emotionally, it's exactly the response we will get. They will remember us the best. And our subconscious reprograms itself under emotional pressure. We are, we have 10% of conscious mind and rest, 90% of subconscious mind. And we are just puppets of our subconscious mind, as well as our audience. And if we want them to do something which they haven't done previously because they never invested in themselves previously, they have to change their automatic response, which means they have to use their subconscious differently, then the best way is to squeeze them emotionally, create within the emotions which we were strong enough for their subconscious to respond to us selling the course differently. You build as well a bond with your audience. Okay, and now I will show you an example which I prepared for my story using this formula. I will stop sharing for a moment to show you body language. I will stand there. Wait. Okay. Okay, do you see me? Yeah, only me? Yep. Okay. I was not always like that. Oh, no. I used to be shy, very shy, and reserved person. Quite often bullied. First in school, later in the office, and eventually in my own home. But there come those moments when you have to make the decision, either to keep pretending that everything is fine, or crack the shell and show the world who you truly are. I used Toastmasters to learn new skills. And I succeeded. For example, becoming vice president of membership. But I still remember that moment in January 2020 when I changed my mind and turned confusion into confidence. COVID might have inspired me. Virus, come on. Even now, I almost smell my blood circulating faster in my veins that evening. This adrenaline rush made me feel amazing, but out of control. I was standing in my living room, face to face with my husband. I remember where all items were. My cozy blanket on the edge of red couch, the little cup with red roses, and already cold coffee. And in that moment, I had to answer only one question in my mind. Do I go with a bad girl option, or I keep my composure? He helped me to choose, asking angrily, what do you want again? Calmly, like never before, I answered, divorce. And I'm telling you this because everything in your life can change with just one decision. Be brave. Now people notice me and I intimidate them. I hope you liked it. But I will tell you why I chose this one. Wait, I have to share again. What's happening? No, come back. Sorry, I will share one more time. And on the slides, you can find the whole story where I point out those elements from the formula: what, when, smell, where, who, auditory, dialogue, visual, the point. And look how clever how clever the choice supposed to be. I choose the story about divorce because I'm aiming people after 40s, because this is, in my mind, is a perfect audience for my public speaking course. And I strongly believe that people after the 40s, they at least divorced already once, or at least thought about divorcing once, okay? Which means I'm using it cleverly, the story which definitely will resonate with the majority of my potential audience, my potential client. And this is important because this is that bond which I'm building and using their empathy to bond with me, their empathy to stay with me, to be sympathetic, yeah? And not only for that reason, there's another reason why I do that, why I'm engaging their empathy right now. Look at that. Because now I have to turn leads into sales. This is the last point, and it's quite important, if not the most. But this is why I can tell them shortcut. People love shortcut. People don't. They know my hardship, and they don't want to go through it, but they want my skills. And I can show them shortcut. No, I can tell them. You can tell them how our product can change their life without going through hardship. You know, my public speaking course will show you all the necessary steps you can take to become powerful without going through any drama or being pushed to your limits. Now they have their precious shortcut, but they have to invest, they have to pay you, yeah? Hopefully. And this is the turning leads into sales. And you can finish it now. This is their decision. Don't push them. Don't look like you are crazy for it, and they can go back home and they will make that decision. They have to sleep over it. But now they will know that you know what you're talking about and that you can deliver because they bonded emotionally with you. You created a feeling. But if you are not ready for Toastmasters, or you don't have time for it to attend meetings, or you are not confident enough, there's a perfect technique. It was designed by John Yoshi, I hope I pronounced it all right, which is called VAP. And you can record yourself at home on your mobile phone, 3 minutes of trying to sell your product or storytelling or whatsoever, and then turn only visual aspect of it to check your gesticulations and body language. Then turn it off, turn on only auditory to check your voice and feelers. Ons, ends, which you're supposed to turn into pauses. It took me the longest to learn that one. Because I'm telling you, this is crazy how often we use feelers when we are thinking about the sentence we want to use, especially for foreigners like myself. It's like, oh shit, I was not conscious about it at all. And it took me a really long time to be at least conscious about my feelers. And then I had to turn it in poses, something which I'm not necessarily familiar with or I like. But yeah, only practice can help, nothing else. Only practice. And if you have a friend or your husband or wife can point it out while you are talking, it's just perfect. Use it. Use it. No, this is not criticism. It's a learning lesson, learning curve. Yes. And later on, you have to check your transcript. There are online available for free applications where you can upload your video and it will turn your speech into text. And this way you can check your script quality. Even on Instagram, you can there's add captions and it will automatically create subtitles. You can check the quality script of what you are talking about automatically and how it looks like, yes? Perfect. Melody of your vocal. Nobody thinks about this. but I will show you how important it is, and you will change your mind. Melody is something which people never teach or never talk about, but this is what sells products. Okay, I will show you why. Because we are after them not buying on the side, we are after them remembering you, yes? Okay, look, we always remember about accent, engagement, volume, pace, but not necessarily pitch and melody. But one fact will change your mind, and you will pay attention to it. Look at that. People are more likely to remember a song by heart than a page from the book, because a song has melody. Isn't this a fascinating fact? And why? More melody equals to more memorable. I spent like 2 days learning this one particular word because it was a surprise to me that I can't pronounce it as well. Memorable speech. And this is what we want. We want them to go back home and remember about you. Memorable. Because why? Because melody triggers emotion. This is why. Feeling, emotions, memorable. Yeah. How to practice your pitch variety? Yeah, how I do it. I do it almost on a daily basis, especially when I'm on early morning on my train station waiting for a train. Nearby trees have birds, and you can sing with them. Yes, they always sing in the morning. And trust me, when you sing back to them, they will notice you. And when you change the tune, they will try to follow. And after that, they will change their own tune for you to follow. It's a proper conversation you can have with birds. It increases your confidence and connects you with nature. Trust me, this beautiful exercise if you want to increase your melody in your vocal cords. Yeah? Birds solves it. Not with ducks. I tried with ducks, but they taught me only how to argue better. Trust me, they are so argumentative. It's when you have to deal maybe with husbands, yes, or wives. Yeah, okay. Or if you have different ideas, it would be, doesn't matter. If you Google how to practice your pitch variety and exercise, I think would be beneficial. And at the end, I want to present my book, which I released for free this past Christmas. How to create your synchronicities. And it's available on my website, choosefrequency.com, under the folder books. It's a really nice book, I think, because I'm connecting science with spirituality, creating ideas how you can use both to enhance your lifestyle, enhance the way how you see the world around you, to change your perspective and use it for your advantage. And yes, this is, I think, the end. Thank you for listening. I hope it helped you. And if you have any questions, then I'm more glad to answer any. And I wish to create, and I tried to speed up a little bit because I wanted to do some exercise with you guys.
Well, depending if there are questions or not, we can. I mean, first of all, thank you very much. I think it was very lively with some great examples. I've made copious notes and some very, very useful tips. I mean, I was already thinking along to how I could put some of those into practice. And they're very, very useful. And I'm sure I will remember them. And I love the way you speak, by the way. So thank you for sharing all of that. Now, are there any questions? We have somebody who's obviously spent a lot of time studying all of this and has come up with a great process for us to get our message out there and get the results that we want. Do any of you have a question you would like to ask Gosha? Don't be shy. You can just unmute yourself and ask it.
This is safe space.
Yeah. Make the most of the fact that we are here and that we do have this opportunity. I say, okay, thank you from Karen, I see. She has to go. Anybody else have a question? Otherwise, we do your exercise, Gosha.
Yeah,
Helen, Eva, Trevor, no? Okay, let's do your exercise then.
Okay, let me stop sharing. And I really encourage you guys to use this space in this moment in time when we can just practice, use us as a meet. I call it always public speaking meet. Yes, use us as a meet and practice your short sales pitch. When you hand over your business card on you, or you invited to the event, and somebody approaches you and asks you, "What's your product?" Because I know you are a coach. What's your product? You have to, in the space of just 10, 20 seconds, sell yourself well for them to remember you at least. Yes. In 2-3 sentences, tell me what's your product, what's your life purpose, how you can change others' life. I can give an example. For example, I would.
Oh, you want us to do it now? Yes. Okay. Anybody brave enough?
Exercise.
I do see we have a
because...
question from Colette in a minute. Should you lower the pitch of your voice? And there's another one, but oh, here somebody's going to. And how you connect to. I also need to leave, but I'm going to be at the Toastmasters Club tonight in Austria, somebody said. Okay, so yes, anybody want to try their pitch? Come on, let's be brave. It's just us four here. Anybody want to do their elevator pitch?
Let's do it. Who would want to?
I'm freaking out now. I'm getting a total mind blow. Go on.
I can start to encourage people, because I would say something like that. I research synchronicities. You can't even imagine how it can change your life if you at least start noticing them. I can help you with it. This is my business card.
Whoa.
And it's like, whoa, what's happening here? Okay, yeah, this is quite cool. I have to check at least what synchronicity is about. And then I'll decide, yes, to call that crazy woman. Yeah, come on, let's try. Try, really, guys.
That's a good one, Colette says. Yeah, indeed.
I
can do mine, but I've been working today and I've got 3 different businesses. So I need to get my head back on since 2024. I usually say, what do I say? My name is Julie Kennedy, and I believe you all deserve to be heard. So my business is helping people be heard. And I do longer versions, shorter versions. So some of it's hearing yourself, something about I believe we all deserve to be to have our message heard and get the results that we want. So I coach. What do I coach? I coach business people who want to get better results from their business, and I also help non-native English speakers communicate. And this is a real messy one. I say a few things like that.
Perfect. I love it. You use
perfect when I do it right.
3 elements, which goes together very well.
Yeah.
And you use like the proper sentence, like a calling. Yes. Like
we all deserve to be heard. Yeah.
We all deserve to be heard. How is it like? How it's called? It's like your main sentence, like your main goal.
My sort of motto. Yeah, that's the name of it. You deserve to be heard is everywhere.
Yeah, and it's like,
okay. Let me see.
This is my contribution to the collective. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to answer Colette before, if nobody else wants to do it? There was something about should you lower the pitch of your voice when you're delivering this? Should we? Should one? Should we?
It depends who you talk to. Because when I speak to people, I check if there is somebody, if there are a majority of people who are introverted. Yes, they might not, because, for example, I'm very extroverted. But if I see and I feel, because I'm spiritual as well, and I can feel from body language, and I can feel how people are, and if I see that I make people feel anxious or uncomfortable with my blah blah blah.
Yes,
then
I can relate to that.
Yes, I go smaller and I can say, don't worry. Shit happens.
Yeah. But that does have more
I would
impact.
go slower. I would go do a different pitch, definitely. But this is what I was talking about at the beginning. The success of you selling anything, product or one-to-one or whatever, is through you being able to estimate it, who you're dealing with.
Or talking to. But I think Colette has a point, because I think women are often told that when we get nervous, like you were saying at the beginning, you talk fast when you're nervous. I know I do too. But lots of us say, when we're getting really in freaked out mode before we've increased our confidence, women in particular, I do find our pitch does tend to go up, which doesn't make it very pleasant to listen to. If somebody's squeaking at the top of their voice, it'll be more like people are sort of like backing off rather than leaning in to listen to what you're saying.
Yeah. This is very important as well. And I'm a victim of it. I'm working on it. But when I was going through my journey of public speaking, when I was learning, I had to focus on so many things. And I'm a foreigner. I had to work on my English as well. But as I said, a lot of time took me just to get rid of fillers, which is even worse, because it doesn't give the professional feel into your speech, which means it's better into your sales speech. It's better to, I guess it's better to be a little bit cocky or a little bit overstimulated than using fillers, because you look not professional.
But it's not just non-native English speakers. I have a podcast which has been running for now 135 episodes, which I edit myself, and I say every 3 times in a sentence. I know it. I spend hours every week having to remove these filler words, and I still do it. So I mean, transcribing your text does help to. I mean, I have no at all knowledge subconsciously, I mean that I even say that, but I say it all the time. I remove hundreds of them from my half-hour episode. So that's a very good one. I see Colette has shared hers, and that is, what is it you want to put into life and get out of it? That's her pitch. Lovely, yeah?
What is it you want to put into life and get
out of it?
Lovely.
Nice one, Colette.
So this is about transformation after automatically pops up in your head. This is transformation. Yeah. You are helping people to transform. It's like a tunnel they're going through, and there's light at the end. And when they come out, this is like completely different.
And to me, do you know what also comes? Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. But do you know what comes to mind for me is also that the idea that it's a two-way street, as in it's not just what do I want to take out of life, what do I want to be given, right? But it's also what can I put into it?
Exactly.
Now, this responsibility that we're also all responsible for our lives and how they turn out. We also have choices that we can make or not make.
Yeah. Beautiful. And I noticed that if you promise them that they will when you are talking with people after 40s, just before 50s, then when you promise them that they will contribute to the collective, they contribute to the community, they will contribute to anything, this sells like fresh bread.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah.
My
because
podcast is called Fabulous After 50, and it's all about contribution. It's all about the joy of you're quite right there. But so it's all like you said about knowing who we're talking to, right? So which words we also choose, let alone just all the rest.
Yeah, and knowing when you talk, you know who you talk to, you know as well, you can estimate as well the psychological needs. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The need of belonging, the need of purpose, the need of being present in the moment. Yeah.
Right.
And you can.
But you have such a fact also. Yeah, about the practicing. I mean, I love the fact also that you shared, that you were not confident. And so that then in 2020, you decided to do this Toastmaster course and all that you've learned that you're now giving to other people. I mean, the way you stood there, the way you delivered it. And I have also an example when I was living in Africa where for some very strange synchronicity, let's say, I went from being a non-member of a women's group to actually being its president within a month. I mean, it's a long story. I won't go there. But I remember before the first meeting, I was so scared. I vomited in the toilet. And now I speak in front of 500, 5,000 people. It makes no difference. It's practice. And before you know it, something which you dreaded, which you hated. I was always the person who would, drop a pen in a room when people were being called. I'd be shuffling around under my chair. I'd pretend my children had illnesses. If people had to even just introduce themselves in a group, I was so shy. And now I love it. I found my calling in a way. So we never really know, just by trying, it's liberating. Even if you're not talking in front of 5,000 people, it's a truly liberating thing to feel okay speaking in public.
The most important is to try. It doesn't matter, guys. Nobody cares about the quality. Nobody cares about. We always think that people care about us. No. If you understand that they don't pay attention, then you can truly change your attitude and use them as a meat. I always see them as a meat. I have an opportunity to practice.
Yes, exactly.
Embrace it. Embrace it. Because it doesn't matter, you will not succeed. The most important is to make a step forward.
You'll have learned.
Then
You'll have learned
stay
what
back,
works.
stay where you are and do not try even.
Yeah.
Step forward, is even if it's the smallest one or full of failures, doesn't matter.
Yeah. And to
As
come
long
back
as
to my thing, you deserve to be heard, right? We all have a message. We all have a mission. We're all coaches here. So we all
Absolutely.
believe in helping others in whichever way is right for us. And if nobody hears us, where's the point? We're playing
Where's the
small
point?
and we're stopping, you know, we're actually being mean because we're not helping all the people out there who need our services. And that helps, I think, when you believe and you have the conviction in what you're selling and you know, what you want to give other people, like you took a story, you know, something which you didn't like and used it to create something to help other people. And that's what most of us have done also as coaches, right? We've taken something which has happened to us or a lack of information, and then we've made our own, you know, we've searched ourselves and then have decided to give it back to other people to make it easier for them. But we need to be heard. Otherwise, those people are not going to find us.
And trust me, guys, trust me on it. And you can even find it out yourself when you watch those advertisements for courses, for, I don't know, books or whatsoever. When the person who sells it shares with you their personal story, their personal experience, they sell it with their soul, this is most likely to be successful. Because people, but yes, it has to be full of soul, full input, because it triggers trust, and you sell stuff through making them trust you. Remember, and trust you. Remember as a trustful person.
Right. It's all what you were saying about emotions, right? We buy, and our decision making is actually based also on emotions, isn't it? It's what's going to make us feel like. So you have to connect with the person who's selling. You have to believe and trust that person. Beautiful. Anyone have any other question? Anything you would like to add? Anything unclear?
Use me as meat. Practice.
Exactly, use her as meat. Helen, go on. Don't you want to give us a little bit of an idea of what you do? If you have a pitch, or go for it.
I struggle a bit with my pitch, I have to say. So I could open it by saying how you look is the least interesting thing about you, because I'm a body confidence coach, but then I'm not sure where to go after that.
Oh, that's a good one, though. That gets people's interest, right?
Yeah, because it will strike in them. What she's talking about. It's like, and now I would like add something which will turn, because they might feel a little bit offended, yes, like that. And now you have to turn them back. She's just getting me on board. But look what has happened to me when I applied blah, blah, blah. When I researched body confidence products or something like that, or theories or researchers, I'm now powerful woman. I can empower everybody.
Yeah, and find a great.
And they were like that, and they like that. Oh, that woman is my solution.
Yeah, it's a very intriguing opener, right? Because especially nowadays, people think what they look like is the most important. You see the importance of visuals everywhere, and Instagram and this and that, you know, all these totally filtered up people, etc. So I mean, you immediately had my interest. So then so what's the opposite, right? So if what you look like is the least important, what is?
Yeah, it's something about helping your, I don't know, like your beauty to shine through from within, something like that.
From within. Yeah.
Exactly, because what you look like changes, right? Whereas who you are inside only grows, or something like that. No, that sort of thing.
Perfect.
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, thank you for sharing. Thank you for having had the courage to share that. I hope you can still see me. I forgot to turn the light on in my room. It's getting very dark. I can't even see the time. It is about past, isn't it? Right. Gosia, thank you. Thank you very much for this first one. And I even intend making a little note for myself, a little cheat sheet here. I've got myself a piece of cardboard where I'm going to write down very short those things, and I will use them for everything that I do. because I thought it was very short, very concise, the examples that you gave, I was a bit like, yes. So thank you for giving us a very powerful tool for us to start 2024. And I mean, you know, we need to get our messages out there. So this is a great process for us all to follow.
I was speeding up a little bit because I thought I have to give 15 minutes for QA at the end.
It's if there are, you know, I mean, sometimes there aren't questions, or we did an exercise, or we just opened. This was like an open forum. There's no set way. We usually say don't speak more than 45 minutes so that we can use the last 15 for whatever makes sense.
For conversation.
Questions, conversations. It depends what comes up. Every audience is different. But thank you very, very much, Helen,
for
and
the
Colette.
opportunity.
Thank you for staying
I love
till the
that.
end. Well done. And let's all have a fabulous year and get our messages out there, right? And Gosha, looking forward to having you back on the synchronicities as well.
Yes,
right?
5th of March. Thank
Great.
you.
Bye. Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.
Bye.